Welcome to Overthinking Understanding Podcast. I'm your host, Victoria Moore, and we are back with another episode, a very special episode. We kicking off 2021, right? It's my first guest appearance, one of my childhood friends. Tucci is a name. Don't ask her how she got it. We finna get on here. We're gonna talk about relationships. Today's episode is gonna be talking about relationships, friendships, any type of relationship, business relationships, intimate relationships. It's gonna be on relationships. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so let's get it started. We're gonna start off. What do you feel like is a healthy relationship?
First, let me just say, every healthy relationship look different for everybody because you can't just put like, oh, this is what a healthy relationship looks like because everyone has different relationships for different reasons in different seasons. Let me just say that. So for me, a healthy relationship with my husband would be like keeping an open mind, and that just goes for all relationships because I feel like a lot of people aren't open minded about things, and they're so ready to, if it's not what they're used to, okay, well that's not right.
Yeah.
So for me, it's an open mind and it's understanding. And when I
Yeah.
say understanding, I mean you have to be willing to understand, and you also have to be willing to. I'm trying to explain it.
Nah, you good. Take your time. It ain't no rush.
You have to be willing to understand, and you also have to still be willing to learn. Like, don't ever feel like you don't reach the max capacity of learning about relationships. It's always something different.
Exactly. That's the whole episode. I ain't gotta say nothing. Be for real. Like I think that's what I'm gonna try to back because she right at the I'm sorry guys, she's right at my mic and I don't want to be too loud on the feed, so I might be bagging back and moving a little bit and I might sound at different tones, but I'm trying to pick the perfect tone to try to match up pitch so I won't be screaming in y'all ear. But yeah, what I was saying, I feel the same way because I think understanding goes a long way. That's why I name my stuff overthinking understanding, and people kind of get caught up on, oh, what is we overthinking? But I feel like they thinking too hard. Like I feel like people be overthinking, understanding like they don't understand a lot of the stuff that they talk about in relationships in general. We all grew up and came from different walks of life. So what I might see is normal, and what my parents did, or what my mom might have did. I came from a household where I had my mother and my father my whole life, even though it wasn't perfect on the outside. You like, I might have just been raised with my daddy. I might just been raised with my mother. So they like, you got your mother and your father. Your stuff was perfect, and it's like I wasn't perfect. They had their situation, their issues too. I just got to see a relationship. I seen my mother and father. Everything. If it was time to move, they moved together. If it was time to cry, they cried together. So I know when I went out and in any relationship that I get in, romantic or friendship, I kind of look for that without it being said.
A
Like
union.
a union. It's a union. Even if we don't have to be sexual or nothing, like we together. It's that overstood concept. Whereas we don't have to say it, but we know it. I know that you're not just gonna call me and it's just some BS. You know what I'm saying? Like if you call me
Yeah.
and you say you need me, you gonna need me. If you call me and you might just get on the phone and be talking about the sky, then 1 minute we in a deep conversation that's gonna fell off the cliff. Oh, hey, she just need to vent, or they just need to vent, and then you don't have to explain like, oh, I just need to vent. You don't gotta say on the phone 10,000 times, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to unload, cause it's open. I'm not gonna judge you. You can say
Yeah.
whatever you want to say, and I should be able to freely in any relationship. If I don't agree with it, I should be able to say something about it. But if you tell me like, hey, I just want you to listen, then I'm just gonna listen to it. I'm gonna just go on about my business. Like, okay, you just need somebody to listen. I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah, and I also think that's a big part too. The listening. A lot of people aren't listening to get an understanding. They're listening to reply. So,
Yeah.
because we're all so defensive. Like if I
Yeah.
cuss you out right now, you're not going to try to figure out why I'm cussing you out. The first thing you're gonna think of, oh, well, let me cuss her back out because why the fuck is she cussing me out? You know?
Exactly. Exactly. And we know better. That's one thing I had seen this meme on I seen this meme on Instagram, and it was like people judge people off of actions, but we want to be judged off of our intentions. And I was like, that two little sentences was so deep because I was like, that's true. Because I know if you call me and I might be having a bad day and I get loud with you, like I want you to know, like it's not towards you. I'm just having a bad day, and I feel like we cool enough where you will know she just having a bad day. But if you, like you said, if you cuss me out, I'll be like, she ain't have to do that. You know, it don't
Yeah,
matter. It don't matter what's going on. I ain't do that to her. You know, like we too cool for that. When it's just like
right.
if the roles was reversed, I would want you to understand. Like I know your actions did not match your intention. So that was like I seen that meme a couple days ago, and I was like, that was fire. Whoever thought about that was fire.
Yeah, and that also goes just hand in hand with learning. Like
Yeah,
I said, relationships are different, and since I've gotten older, I had to understand that all relationships matter, not just the romantic ones, not just family. Like the lady in McDonald's line, she could be taking your order, having a bad day, like just had a real bad customer. And I had to learn that, like, have some understanding when you talk to people because you don't. It's not going to be a long relationship with that lady that you are in the McDonald's line with. It's just going to be a short relationship. You know, you just exchanging money and food. But I still want to make sure, like, hey, even if you had a bad day, listen, I understand. And I'm open to okay, she probably had a bad day, so she's probably a little snappy. Let me not make her day worse. And
exactly.
that just builds relationship. I feel like that builds character too, because I've been learning. Like you know, like coming from junior high and high school, I wasn't probably the best person to talk on relationships, but I definitely have understood more that man, you just have to be open when it comes to relationships
You
because you don't
never know
have
what
all the
nobody
right
done
answers.
been through. Yes, it
You haven't
dang.
learned everything. And
Exactly.
that goes to you back to saying like people come from different walks of life. Like at first, me and my fiance, we definitely used to butt heads a lot because you know he came from a home where he was raised up off survival. Don't get
Yeah,
me wrong, he had both parents.
yeah,
He had the ideal household. You would think that it was the perfect thing. He
yeah.
had mother and father, but he was raised off survival.
Exactly.
Versus me, I come from a mama who was loving, who was overly loving. So I didn't have to go look for that in the world.
Yeah,
And she taught me a lot of things.
exactly.
So like us moving in together, we just would butt heads because it would be stuff that I'll be like, your mama didn't teach you that? And
Yeah,
he'll be like, no, she really didn't teach me that. And I used to be like, oh, okay.
yeah. Like I ain't. Before
I
you
had
get I don't even want to cut you off before you get off because you had brought up McDonald's and it had made me think of when I was living in Washington State. And it's crazy that you brought up McDonald's. So when I was living in Washington State, it was a McDonald's that was 24 hours right outside of the army post that I lived at. And you know, coming from where we come from in Texas, we say yes ma'am, no ma'am. A lot of places I done stayed at, they don't talk like that. So I would go through the drive-through, and it'll be it's this skinny bright lady in the red wig, and she'll give my order. I'll be like, yes ma'am, no ma'am, what else? She'll always be like, your mama raised you right, your mama raised you right, and I'll go through the line sometimes, and she'll be like, it's on the house tonight, it's free tonight. And I'd be like, what? Just off of me being like, it's so crazy you brought up McDonald's because I had a lady like that at Wingstop. I had a lady like that at Subway where just like I wasn't doing it for those actions and I continued to do it. Not saying that like, oh, maybe today will be free. Wasn't in the back of my mind, but it'll be like, that made y'all feel good and y'all really didn't see that. And like the lady from
yeah,
McDonald's, like I said, she'll give me my food free. And like one day I was out at the club and she ran up and she gave me a hug and she like, I'm the girl from McDonald's. And I was just like, man, that kindness and that relationship right there goes a long way. Just
yeah,
something as simple as yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and people were so stuck on. I guess because she was African American, they will always give credit to my mother. They'll be like, "Your mother raised you right." And I'm like, "Man, my daddy, like, I had both parents." You know what I'm saying? But they'll
yeah,
be like, "Your mama raised you right," and I'll be like, "Well, my parents taught me how to be respectful
yeah,
like this because I can't come at my mama sideways without my daddy hemming me up." And I'm definitely ain't coming at my daddy sideways. So that was
right.
crazy that you brought that up. But no, go ahead, go ahead.
and that just goes to show you, like, a 5-minute relationship can go a far long way. And that's why I said you have to be so open to learning, because I'm not saying you're always looking for something free when you go through the McDonald's line, but you definitely built a relationship, and she remembered you. She remembered you all the way to the club. And I mean, that's a public outing. It's real hard to bump into the lady line. I mean, to the lady that was in line ordering the cheeseburger. So, like
Exactly.
I said, that's why I said that the constantly learning and wanting to be understanding, being open with any relationship, even romantic relationships. I know you was telling me how, so many people are always wanting to give credit to your mom. They do me like that
Yeah.
with the whole fact of me and my fiance still together. So many people be like, oh, well, I was at a barbecue, and my aunt was asking me, well, she's an aunt from, like, marriage. She was asking me, she was like, she didn't want to ask me, but she was asking me in so many words, where's your kid's dad?
Right there.
I was like, but no, he wasn't there. He was at work. And I was like, you could ask me. I mean, I'm not ashamed of telling you, he's at work. I mean, and she was like, oh, no. I was asking you, were y'all together? Because she just assumed that we weren't.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, yeah, we're together. He's raised by both parents, because Avery cries a little bit more than the average 2-year-old.
Exactly, yeah.
But she was like, oh, is his dad not his life? Like, why do you expect for his dad not to be in his life because he cries? We're just raising our kids a little different, not how y'all used to.
And men need to be able to express this 2-year-old need to be able to cry. So when he become 30 and 20 and 40, he not ready to shoot himself or put his hands on whoever he decide to lay in bed with, because he don't know how to communicate his feelings, because a man ain't supposed to cry. A man ain't supposed to, like, no, let that man cry.
That just goes back to relationships. I definitely want to have my son to have an open mind, let him know that, hey, you can tell your significant other, your friend, the lady in McDonald's line, hey, I'm not having a good day. And it's perfectly fine. You shouldn't be judged for that being a man. That's why I said that with relationships, it's just with learning. Like, I don't think I can say that enough.
Learning. Being so understanding. Man, understanding is the hardest thing, because if you don't have understanding and an open mind, then, like you say, you gonna think about just what you was raised off of. And even with, I tell people, I feel like I could love anybody off any sex. It's like I got it from, people give so much credit to my mama, but like my daddy showed me love like no other. Regardless of what we did, it was always, I created you, you are mine. Like, I don't care if we went and robbed a bank or something like that. Like, I created you, you mine. You know more better than me. I feel like, oh, daddy, I'm messing up, I'm doing this. So that love that I have, anybody that I have been in a relationship with, if the relationship didn't work out, ask them, would they want to come back? It's like, it didn't work out because I learned that I can't force somebody to be somewhere that they not. I can't treat every girlfriend as a wife when they not wives. They girlfriends. But I never seen my mom and them, whatever they did, they didn't come home. So I didn't see none of that. I seen my married mother and my married father. I seen husband and wife. So if I say I'm gonna take care of you, like, I'm gonna take care of you, and I want you to be able to take care of me back. But that's just like the most important relationship I feel like we all always neglect, is having a relationship with ourselves, because it seemed like you'll get attracted to people who seem like they got everything together, and they be the most conflicted, like broken people. So it's like, I'm trying to tell you, hey, you supposed to give, not even say give a part of yourself to me. You're supposed to give effort to wanting to be with me, because I don't want you to give a part of myself. I want you to be able to grow, and I want you to grow with me. Whatever path that you choose in life, I want us to be able to walk it together. But it don't have to go into a point. We can walk beside each other and say, I choose to walk this life with you side by side. Whatever you choose, I'm your partner, I'm your teammate in this. And I just had to realize, like, you can't force that on people. And when everybody want real love and they want somebody that's really there, but just like most of us, when you really get it, it scared the hell out of you, because you like, oh man, you really mess with me. Like, yo, you really not judging me. Like, oh, you really just want to make me better. And then the first thing people do is they like you say, they resort back to what they did at home, or it'll be like they run away, or they go treat the person that they really want to. I love you so much, they go treat them different. It don't matter if you with women, it don't matter if you date men, heterosexual, it don't matter. Friendships, it happen like that with everything. It's like that person not used to some, that person not used to the love that you give them, and either they try to control it or they get rid of it. Because if I can't control what you doing, then I'm gonna get rid of it. Cause I don't want you to break my heart, so I'm gonna leave you first.
See, but that goes back to you have to be more open and
Yeah.
understanding. Like I said, when you find someone, when you find your soulmate, I feel like I feel like I found my soulmate. Somebody who understands me. It's so crazy because I swear, like it is. If you see how good we are with each other, you can be like, "You sure y'all are just boyfriend and girlfriend? Y'all want to race together?" Because it's so crazy how we just kind of connect. Like, okay, it took some time though. I'm not gonna say it just came together at once. It was more of like me. Like I had to be the one that stepped back and be like, okay, I need to be more understanding because he probably really don't know what I know.
Yep.
Because we came from different households.
Yep.
So like I said, it just goes back to I used to get so mad at him that he would put dishes in the sink and won't wash it. Because at my house, we wash dishes.
You wash dishes.
You put it in the sink, you wash it.
And you better wash them dishes before you put them in the dishwasher. Like,
period.
Yeah, dirty dishes don't go in the dishwasher. What you doing? Like,
yes, it's not right. And so I would just be like, okay, but that's not right. You need to do it this way. And he was more of the like, okay, well, teach me. Because I don't understand.
I respect that. I said, you hold on to that. I respect that because some people are flash out. You trying my manhood. It's however I want to wash these dishes. Like, nah.
So that's why I said that relationship kind of just got tighter because it was more, he was willing to learn and I kind of had to be understanding.
Yeah. And you definitely, and I love that because I'm not going to lie. One of the best relationships that I had with one of the best people that I had, it was that same thing where we didn't start off on we didn't start off on the best note. Because especially with females dating females and most women that I have been with, they dated dudes first. And I ain't never been the type to mess with women that mess with dudes. It's a different type of, so like the chick, but when I tell you like me and that girl had a connection where we did a road trip. We drove from Dallas to El Paso. We was in a car by ourselves 8 hours, never turned the radio on. And we didn't realize that we didn't even play no music until we got to El Paso, and we like, dang, we've been really riding without the radio. Like, if I'm having a bad day, I got to explain to you that I'm having a bad day. I might answer something or be short with you, and it's like, oh, you having a bad day. Or like, she could call and see a look on my face and be like, oh, you're not feeling good today. It's like small stuff, and it kind of remind me of stuff like with my daddy. Like, I ain't got to tell my daddy this and that. Like, he know, like, my baby ain't doing good. And it was just that connection, like, it was, like to have somebody who is genuinely excited when you walk through the door. Like I could see that girl and it'd be like, man, like I don't care if we was just beefing. Like I'm mad that I'm more frustrated that I'm not with you right now. So when I get with you, it's nothing. Like it's nothing to be said. Like it's not even just physical. Like yeah, we can't keep our hands off of each other, but it's the conversation. It's just the being in your presence. It's just like no matter what we go through, like hey, you wanna do this? I'm with you. We down. So that I understand that, and I always say like that relationship didn't work, but God don't make no mistakes. Like 4 years later, we back kind of talking, and it's just like I done been through those relationships where it's just like it's all about being patient and how much you willing to take. Because just like you said, you had to be patient and understanding, but it was teach me. Because one thing that we got to learn, if you in a relationship with somebody, it's two people coming from two different walks of life trying to be with each other. And not only if y'all trying to be with each other, you got to teach that person how to love you. So you got to be willing to accept that your love language might be giving me gifts. I'm not a gift giving type of person. Like people that gave me stuff that didn't have no attention. I'm a time type person. I'm a conversation. Like come read me a book. Come read me a book type. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to talk about like if it's aliens under the sea type person. Like it's different. And it's like if you're not willing to be that person for me, then it's like how much abuse am I gonna take? We don't need to be together. And I wish you all the love in the world, but if you won't you love the way that I love you, but how you love me is toxic. Like
Yeah.
and I know that you growing, and if I want to just buckle down and be like, this is gonna be such a good woman once they fix this, and that, but by the time we get there, I'm bitter because you done did so much. I'm upset, like I'm flashing out on you. I don't want to be like this in a relationship. I don't want to be cussing and calling you out your name. Like I don't want to do all that. And if you can't respect that on me, we just don't need to be together. So that's a very key point that you made. Like people have to be willing to
Yeah.
want to. Like it's so hard for people to be like, I don't know. And so it's so hard for people to take that L now. Like, oh man, like I didn't know that. Like I'm not
Mhm.
perfect. Like just because I say I don't like the way you do something, don't mean I don't love you. Cause I wouldn't mess
Yeah.
with you. Cause if that's the case, you know what's so crazy? I think what not even just our generation. I think what the world has messed up is dating. Cause people get with somebody and they see that they're a dope person and they just try to hold on to them and they be like, I'm gonna figure out if you with me once this roller coaster start going. Like, hey, get in here. The roller coaster started. Like, I don't know if the seatbelt is buckled up. We gonna figure out if the
Yeah.
seatbelt fit once we going. It's like, no, you supposed to be able to date me. You can't be worried about if I'm gonna meet somebody, if I'm gonna do this. Because if we dating, then if somebody go have a better connection than somebody, that don't mean you're in competition. But people don't want to date no more. It's like, oh, I like you, you like me, we together. And then, oh, okay, okay, it's all right.
Okay, but since you're talking about that, that actually made me think of something that I was going to talk about Friday.
Okay.
One of my Facebook friends asked me this, and they were like, "Did you heal or did you force yourself to forget?" And I think that is so big in relationships.
Mm.
When she asked me that, I was just like, "You're right," because so many times, man, in relationships, and I'm not just romantic ones, but we do it so much in romantic ones. But like, don't know how to heal.
Yep.
So many times you're just willing to kind of like move on and forget. You forget to actually fix the problem
Yep.
before it becomes even a bigger problem because we're so used to just, oh, we can move on and not heal from that. And I think that's why a lot of relationships don't last.
Yep. I think and that was such a big thing, even with me, because I was always the type of person that didn't really mess with a lot of people. And I had to understand, like, I think it's childhood trauma and stuff that don't get dealt with. It's like people will do stuff and they'll be like, if you do something good, you're a good person. If you do something bad, you're a bad person. When it's not that simple. Like, what made you push everybody away? What makes you feel and it's usually be somebody close to home, like my mom or my father or someone who raised me. I didn't feel the love, or I'm used to loving you like this because this my papa or my grandmother or my aunt who raised me, they would love me too, but at the same time they'll put their hands on me, or at the same time they would do this. So I think that if you don't do this, then you don't love me. Or I feel like that if I don't do this to you, then you don't love me. And it's like, no, like you don't put your hands on me if you love me. You don't leave me on my own if you love me. You don't just I should be able to talk to you about stuff if you love me. So I think that's a good point. Like it goes on to you have to figure out what makes you do what you do. What make you, and even picking people in relationship, friends. I think a lot of time we pick people in our comfort zone. It's just like you want to pick some people who you feel like not doing better than you. So if you do get in your feelings, or if they do call you on something, you like you ain't doing no better than me. Your relationship ain't no better than mine. And it's just like why you act like that? You want to see somebody in a healthy relationship because it make you want to have a healthy relationship, and you don't got to take everything from that person relationship. Like, but you could take the good stuff. Like I like that. I like how y'all talk about stuff when y'all have a problem. I like how y'all like with my ex every Tuesday before COVID hit, we'll do date night just because. But I've been like that. Back in high school, I used to take my girl out every month anniversary. Like, so let's say we got together on the 15th. Every month on the 15th, I would take her out, and like it started getting irritating to her. She was like, "Why you always take me out anniversary? It won't be special no more." And I kid you not, about a year and a half later, she had cheated. She got with another dude, and she was like, "We don't do none of that. Like I miss going out. Like I wish that he'd take me out." It's just like people not used to it, and they don't know no better, and it hurt your feelings. And it's just like if you really love somebody, you gotta understand, like, I love you enough to love you, or if I can't show you the love that you deserve, I want you to go get that love for somebody else. I want you to go be loved and go on and do it. Cause I don't want you think I'm hurting you, and it's never my intention to hurt you or bring you down. Like I want you to accept this love, but you might need somebody who argue with you. You might need somebody who, cause that's the way that you receive love. I never be able to give you that, cause my love is different.
And that's so toxic. People don't understand what toxic really is.
They don't.
They think it's cool. They think it's okay. They think being toxic towards a person, that's love in a relationship, whether it's a friendship.
That's up and downs. I hate that. That's up and down. Cheating is just up and downs. Me stabbing my boyfriend is just up and down. Like I never forget. I was in the car with my partner, and like I was getting heated, and I told the chick I was talking to at the time. I said, I don't want to talk to you crazy, so I'm gonna get off the phone. And I always hang out with people older, so he was like, "You got off the phone, so you wouldn't tell her nothing crazy?" And I was like, "Yeah, like I was raised, you don't do that, because at the end of the day, you still know it's gonna hurt that person's feeling. You just saying at that point in time, I don't care. Like I'm trying to hurt your feelings, and you can't say that you love me, and at the same time you go do something to intentionally hurt my feelings. Like we do stuff to hurt our significant other feelings or even friends' feelings without even knowing. That's different because I didn't intentionally do that. But if I call you out your name or if I tell you this, then I know it's gonna hurt your. No, I'm gonna let it cool off because that's not the love I want to give. And he was like, that's crazy, because he was like, and he was married at the time, and he was like, that be the time that I turn up, and I'm like, nah, that ain't right. Because why would you be talking to your wife like that? Like if you love her, why you finna go off on her and tell her you gonna beat her ass and do it? Like, no, man, like.
Because people don't understand that you can't unsay things.
You can't unsay
people
things.
Don't understand that. You can't unsay stuff. And they think you can just say it because you're mad at the spur of the moment. But let's think about after you say that, people sit back and ponder on things
like you say, do we heal? Do we heal or we forget? Because people, you'll say some stuff to somebody and it'll be like, it'll be like you forgot about it, but every time the situation come up, it piss you off again. You ain't never healed from it. You ain't never healed from it. Because when the situation pop up,
when she asked me that question, I was like, I don't know how to heal from certain situations. Like, okay, take this. Like, okay, when in this relationship, I had this problem with. I used to have this problem because I don't have it no more. I used to have this problem with like it being my fiance was cheating.
Yeah.
And it used to be an insecurity on myself because that's what happened in previous relationships.
And I understand completely.
And it was like I didn't heal from my previous relationships, and I just would move on and be like, oh well, not knowing that I was taking that on I carried that to every relationship I went through until he's more of a like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's figure this out. Let's not leave it for tomorrow. Let's figure it out now.
That's how I am.
So I would just be like, okay, I don't know how to move on from it. Like, if you could tell me, I would do it because I definitely don't know. That's because again, like just going back to how I was raised. I was raised by a single mom.
Yeah.
She never. It was no other dude in the house.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my dad, but he wasn't at home. So, like I said, I don't know how to heal from those type of things. So I carried them on, and it was kind of like a weight for me until I started understanding that I was doing it.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the biggest thing. You gotta identify. I had to identify, like, you putting too much pressure on people. I learned that in relationships because my childhood shaped me into the person that I am, and because I say learned my lessons through my experience at a young age, and I know how beautiful it is, like how better that I feel. I try to get everybody to that point, and I had to realize, like, didn't nobody rush you to that point. Nobody even knew what you went through in your childhood till you was 18 years old, and they didn't know the full story until you was 20 years old. So just because this woman, and I had to teach myself, because I'd be like, I thought older equal to better relationship. I thought older equal to better relationship. I mean, better They done been through these experiences already. When 9 times out of 10, people just ain't been in a good relationship. People have not had no loving relationship. So I date these people who 10, 20, might not 20, 10, 15 to 4 or 5 years older than me because I'm thinking like, oh, if I date somebody younger, I'm going to have to go through this because they, but then I thought older equal to more understanding and wiser when it's just like you just done had more opportunities to be in some crazy ass relationships and I'm sitting over here like, nah, baby, we ain't doing that. Like you think it make people I feel like it make people feel better if they be like, okay, I done been in a relationship like this before, so if I cuss you out and you cuss me out back and then we get over it together, like you say, people know how to move on for that. But how can you move on from somebody who not finna cuss you out, not finna talk to you crazy, and they just want to talk to you, you know? But at the same time, they not letting you move on. Like you want to cuss me out, you don't want to talk about it today. I want to talk about it tomorrow, but we not just go act like everything cool. But in your mind, you like I already cussed you out, so it's over with. Like I don't know how to. I just blew my steam off, and it's like, but you can't tell me that you love me, and then out of the same mouth you say you hate me, or out of the same mouth you go tell some people something crazy about me when it's like I would never do that to you. Like I'm gonna keep our business in our house, and don't get me wrong, like some stuff need to be talked about because a lot of people are how you feeling like you crazy, but if you know it's something that could be kept internal, it need to stay internal. Everybody don't need to know everything. Like if it's something that we could talk about and we could work out, then let us work it out and let us talk about it. But if you don't even want to, and I think that was the biggest problem in my last relationship, it was no communication. And we can't get nowhere if you don't want to talk to me. Like you would cuss me, like I get cussed out about some stuff, and then it'll be like, it's like you could cuss me out. I can be this whole ass bitch ass nigga, and then like in the same breath, you can't come back and communicate your feelings because that is your way of communicating. But then in the same breath, you turn around and tell me that you love me, you want to be with me, and it's like no. And it's not like I haven't told you. Like I tell you, I grew up in a house where the first person that ever called me a dyke was my mother. So it was like, don't. My mama done said so much stuff. It's like you can't. I tell every my way, you can't say nothing hurtful out your mouth and then in the same time tell me that you love me because I have realized that from my childhood. Like I don't like that. Like you say, I don't know how to the way that I heal from that is keep my distance. The way that I heal from that is, we can talk about this type of stuff, we can't talk about that, but I definitely can't be sharing a bed and sharing my life with somebody that's gonna do that because it's like I don't that doesn't compute well with me because I done been there and done that before. So I think communication is the biggest thing that this last relationship was just like you don't talk. You could cut like you so stuck in your ways that you will cuss me out, but you won't talk. And like you say with the understanding, you don't want to understand. It's like I was raised like this. I'm like, okay, well I was raised to fight. Well, I wasn't raised to fight. So if you fight, then you just childish. It's like, no, that's not.
See, in that same situation, she should have just been like, okay, well, you was raised to fight. Why?
Yeah.
Because sure enough, she probably didn't understand it.
Yeah.
She didn't understand why.
Yeah.
And that's why I said earlier that man, people need to listen 2 times as more as they talk.
Exactly.
That is the key to communication is listening and just sometimes not talking. Just listen and try to get an understanding. And if you don't understand, say you
don't understand. That's
because to be honest, I think that if she probably would have told you, I don't understand that. Could you honestly be mad because a person is telling you, I don't understand.
And you with somebody, and that's what I think that get me, because I'm like, most people get like you with somebody, you could tell. I done dated chicks who done did so much stuff, and it's like I done dated females who done did way worse stuff than what you ever think that you could tell me, but they was comfortable enough to tell me, and that's why we still close to this day. When you met me, I told you, like, I talked to my exes, but I talked to my exes because them like my partners. Like, if they get disrespectful, they'll get cut off, but they know to keep it respectful because they was once with me, and they know, like, I don't play about nobody that I'm with. So it's like, but we was able to talk, but to be with somebody for an extended period of time, and it's just like, I feel like I don't know nothing about you. And you can't tell me, it's like, stop making it on me. Like, well, I don't want to talk to you because I feel like you go do this or you go do that. And it's just like, man, how many times I got to prove to you like I'm not that? And why you just can't say that you're not comfortable with facing your past? Because if you gotta face what you did, then you make it a reality. Why you just can't say, because I done been where you at. You older than me, but I done been where you at. I done been not wanting to face up to stuff that I did. But if you can't face to what you did, you ain't gonna grow, you ain't gonna get better from it. So don't make it like, oh, you gonna do this, you gonna do that, when it's just like, you're not ready to talk to me. I done seen this before. I done seen it with myself. I done seen it with people close to me. So just say like, hey, I'm not ready to examine that part about myself, so I don't want to talk about it. But don't put it on your partner or or even your friend, like, oh, you did this, you did that. Like, no, I didn't do that. Like, it's not always that. If you got stuff going on with you and I say something, it's gonna make it 10 times worse because you already feel that way about yourself. But don't tell me that, oh, you just make me do this and you make me feel like that when you already feel that way. You knew damn well that you was not ready to be in a relationship, so we shouldn't have got into a relationship. You know that you're not ready to be in this type of friendship. We don't need to be friends right now, or you need your space. So yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like if a person is willing to talk to you, you should be willing to listen. Because 9 times out of 10, in the world we live in now, people not even really willing to talk. They just willing to state their opinion. They don't know the purpose, and no, they just like, that's how I feel. But why you feel that way? Because I feel that way. Like, okay.
And that just goes back to saying, like, some people don't know how to honestly do certain things, like
Yeah.
understand or ask why or be confused. Like, they think it's wrong if you don't actually know the answer to what someone's asking. Like, oh, well, I don't know why. I just don't know. And get upset about it.
Yeah, like,
instead of just being like, I genuinely don't know. But if you're willing to teach me, I'm willing to learn.
I'm willing to learn. I want. If I say I want you to teach me how to love you. I want you to teach me how to love you. And like I say, like, I feel like I'm so understanding to a point because I hate starting over, and I don't never get into a relationship to think about ending it. So I'm gonna try to make it work. I'm gonna be swinging till I can't swing no more. But you gotta give me that same energy. But if you say that you can't give me that energy, then just be able to say like, I can't match your energy right now, and I'm gonna respect it. You can't hold on to me and be like, I don't want you to go, but at the same time I want to fix myself. But you don't never, because then I feel like that get to a point where then you in your head, because it's like, I never said that out loud. But then it's like, well, I'm trying to be understanding because the way that you acting, like, I'm ready to hit the door, but I'm trying to, the stuff that you ain't telling me, I'm trying to fill in the missing pieces. But if you don't tell me this, and that, and then when I do tell you, well, I think you act this way because of this. I never said that. You don't know nothing about me. Well, how you don't talk to me? Like, how I supposed to know about you if you don't tell me nothing about you? Well,
And that just goes back to communication.
Communication.
It's such a big thing in a relationship.
Any relationship, any situation, because people get stuff so misconstrued. It's like a relationship is like a text message. You could read it in your own voice. You could read it in your own tone. You can interpret it how you want to. But if you talk to somebody on the phone, like I'm saying, it's verbal still a way of communication. But a relationship, you could take a text message wrong. You could take a lot of stuff that's in a relationship wrong. But if somebody talking to you and you understand, like, hey, like, oh, I ain't mean it that way. I ain't say it that way. I ain't do this. But some people look at a text message and be like, oh, dang, like, they'll cut somebody off of a message because it came off wrong. And that person probably didn't even mean it the way that you took it. You gotta be willing to talk, especially if it's your significant other. You gotta be willing to open it. Or you don't need to be with that person. Let that person go on about his business, or they business. You can't control if you ain't willing to let that person, or you ain't in the if you ain't in the mindset or in the space to let that person go on about his day business. And you can't be mad if they go find somebody who love them the way that you wasn't. Because if you, like I said, that's my biggest thing. If you really got love for somebody, you want them to go be happy. In a relationship that ended, I was like, you get that pride for it, you get that bitter, and then you just like, nah, like, I really want you to be happy because I love you. The problem come back is when people try to come back into your life and you like, hold up now, like, why, what wasn't I doing now? What wasn't I doing then that I ain't doing now? Like, now that's when it get confusing. Like, nah, don't try to come back because you said I was this and I was that. Unless they come back on some stuff like, okay, I was wrong. Okay, we could have did this better. We could have did that better.
Yeah,
I might cut that one. I might cut that part. All right, we at 39 minutes. How you feeling about it?
I think it's great. I think it's so much better. You can become like more talkative. You actually get to see who you are when you have somebody to talk to.
That's what people said. All right, let's end this episode. I'm gonna play it back. I know you say you be up late, I be up late, but we go listen to it back, and then we go end it. So uh damn. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, all in all, so how you feel? Just key points to this podcast: communication, understanding, being open minded. That's what you want people to take away from this episode.
Yeah, like I just to better their relationship, any relationship, especially romantic relationships. You know, you definitely want to just make sure you're at a good standing in those because everyone needs somebody.
Everybody needs somebody, and it don't have to always be sexual. Like everybody,
yeah, it doesn't always have to be sexual.
it don't.
I feel like people who have lived long had great relationships.
They did. No, for real. That's real. I tell my daddy. My daddy always say, I be like, Daddy, you my soulmate. He talking about, I ain't your soulmate. Yes, you is. You my, nah, you my soulmate. Like, nah, yes, you is, sir. Like, yeah. It ain't gotta be nothing sexual. You find that person that you connect with, and this for anybody out there. Don't let cause family, 9 times out of 10, family know when a person effed up. If they really in tune with that person, they know when the person be fucked up and they got fucked up ways, and they be happy that you took that person off their hand. And then some family, they don't even mess with that person enough to know if they messed up or not. So don't worry about your family being in business. Don't worry about friends being in your business. It's different if somebody trying to isolate you from your family or your friends. But if you trying to build a union and you trying to build a connection with somebody, build that connection with that person, because everybody on the outside, if you haven't checked out my episode perception versus reality, everybody's gonna have their own perception of how a relationship is supposed to go. You gotta make your own thing. You gotta if you with that person say, man, you go rock like this, that's how y'all should rock. Small stuff you can go outside and you could talk about, just normal stuff. Like maybe if only time I feel like a situation should go outside a relationship if it's something where y'all can't come to an agreement on. It's like, okay, you go to somebody you trust, like, hey, am I wrong? Like this situation took place, like would you handle it this way, or could you help me understand where I went wrong at, or can you help me understand what this person is trying to say? But every small situation stuff, you should better talk to with your partner, whether it's your friend, whether it's your mama, your daddy, your kids. It's the same thing: communication, understanding, and being open minded. You know, you never know what nobody has been through. You never know what nobody has going on. So, you got anything to say while we wrapping it up?
Yes, and don't let social media give you this perception of how a perfect relationship is.
Yeah, please, because social media is just. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna say let social media do it. Let social media do it. And when you see the good parts, take it for the good parts. And when you see the bad parts, take it for the bad parts. Don't take the bad parts and just, oh, they just doing that, or it's just no, don't. When something go bad on social media, they be like, I knew they wasn't perfect. No, just be like that's normal. Cause your relationship done been through the same thing. Something happened on social media to somebody. Oh, they been on here like they perfect. How about they just didn't want their business in the street like that? Some people don't act to be perfect. They just show y'all what's supposed to be put out there. Why you want to see me cussing? Oh, why you want to see us not talking for a little bit? Or why you want to see us sleeping in separate rooms for you to show that I'm not perfect? You should already know that. Like I'm not perfect, but why you want to see that?
Yes.
So don't take the good and the bad with any situation. Love yourself before you try to get into a relationship with anybody. I'm telling you, I had to learn that. I'm 25 years old, freshly. I had to learn that. I felt like I had so much love I was blessed to have so much love that I could love people. I had enough love for me and that other person, and there's no such thing. Cause you go give all your love away and you don't have nothing to recharge you. You don't have nothing to recharge you. So don't ever think that, oh, I got so much love that I could love me for the both of us. No, because if you feel that way, don't get yourself in a relationship with nobody. Date. date, like my daddy say, have friends. Don't make nobody your significant other. You gotta get somebody that's gonna match. And matching with you doesn't mean that y'all have to agree on everything. Y'all don't have to like the same thing. When you get that vibe and you get that bond with somebody, I'm telling you, I had it, and I wouldn't break it for the world. I don't care. I was at it for a number of years, and I wouldn't break that bond for the world. When you get somebody that you could click with and you could connect with, and it's overstood, you hold on to that. You hold on to that because life is short. I could drop dead tomorrow. I want to be able to know somebody in the world like I had that love. I'm gonna go out a happy person. I had that love. I done felt that love. I appreciate you for being on this episode. I feel like this was a good episode. I think you're gonna be. This is my first guest. Like I say, Tucci is the name. Don't ask her how she got it. I don't want. I don't want to say her government unless she want to say her government. But I appreciate. I think you're gonna be a recurring guest because I really. Half of the time, I just wanted to listen to you. I didn't even want to talk. I had to get my thoughts together. Like I'm like, keep talking, girl. I'm with you.
You definitely have great energy. So I feel like this is just the start of a wonderful thing.
It's gonna be good and be on the lookout. She don't got the name of her podcast anything yet, but I will be doing guest appearance on her podcast until she get ready. I might just let her do an episode by herself on my podcast. Like, hey, we in this thing. We doing it. Support who support y'all. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in to Overthinking Understanding Podcast. I'm your host, Victoria Moore, with guest host Tucci. I was gonna say your government. Yeah. I can tell people, government. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for checking out this episode.